Some coffee. You kidding me?
He's too young to be looking like this.
I know. Wake up, Dylan. Maybe he stayed up too late yesterday. Who knows?
I don't know. There were some photos that of the barcade, I think, yesterday.
There is a barcade across the street. It's not their fault.
I was in bed, of course.
Yeah, you called it early. after that Rams game.
Oh yeah,
you called it.
Put me to sleep.
Yes, wasn't a great game. Was not a great game.
Put me right out. Better than a warm glass of milk.
Serum Visions off of a flooded strand plus an island there for Nikolich. Scry, one to the top, one to the bottom. We'll head over to Dylan Donegan. These two, I imagine, are pretty familiar with each other. Nikolich, if you pay attention at all on, of the SCG Tour, especially when it comes to Modern, everyone knows what he's playing. He's been doing the same thing forever. There's a glacial fortress.
That's one of the joys of the big Modern events is I've sometimes referred to them as Mega Man villains. You just know, like it's Burn Guy, it's Affinity Guy.
Jeskai Guy.
Jeskai Guy.
Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. Yep.
Right.
Definitely Jeskai Guy.
Right.
Yep.
I love that characteristic of a Modern tournament so much.
Same. Tom Ross, Infect Dude.
Or 8-Rat Guy.
Yeah.
Discard Guy.
Yeah.
You had to distill it down further.
Yeah. Discard Guy is
Valakut is that's just Lands Guy.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, Mountains Guy.
Mountain Guy.
Mountain Man.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I like that feature quite a bit.
When you beat him, you get Mountain.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
My Mega Man music I was playing this morning may have influenced the broadcast right now.
A little bit. Yeah.
I was jammed to the Mega Man 3 soundtrack this morning. Big shout out to Shadow Man's theme. Best Mega Man song of all time. This is a Thoughtseize. That'll resolve. All right, Nikolich, what are we working with here? At least one Logic Knot. Looks like maybe two. Steam Vents, Electrolyze, Celestial Colonnade, and a Hollowed Fountain. Seen better, seen worse.
An interesting characteristic of the Death Shadow experience. Stubborn Nile is really good once you have your thing in play.
Mm-hmm.
It is really modest at pushing your threat into play at the first place. It might be challenging for Donegan here to get something to stick. Although he has enough going on in his graveyard now where you could try to land something now, but Nikolich with 2 copies of Logic Knot, so even this Thoughtseize doesn't break it up.
Let's make it 1 copy of Logic Knot. See you later. Scalding Tarn. Donegan will pass turn back. Slow start here for Dylan as we head back over to Benjamin. Path to exile the draw. Steam Vents untapped, down to 17. Donegan's going to sacrifice that Scalding Tarn. And now he'll play a Thought Scour, targeting himself. As the Water Grave enters the battlefield untapped, so he'll take 2, then tapped to play the Thought Scour. So he's down at 12. Nikolich, no interest in countering this, so Thought Scour and Death Shadow go to the graveyard, mystery card drawn. He'll untap those 2 lands, will Dylan and draw a card. Looks like he picked up another copy of Temur Battle Rage. Graveyard pretty loaded up now at this point for Delve Threats and Snapcaster Mage. He spreads those 9 cards across.
I suspect not a good matchup for Temur Battle Rage. The battle is going to be, from Donegan's side, getting something on the battlefield in the first place.
And getting it to stick.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be the challenge.
Cycle Street Wraith. Going to bring Dylan down to 10. Bloodstained Mire the draw. There is that Bloodstained Mire. Here's Snapcaster Mage. That's where Dylan's going to lead out. He's going to target Thoughtseize, sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. So he's going to go down to 5 here. He's going to get a basic swamp. No need for red mana. Logic Knot, perhaps? Electrolyze. Okay. 1-1. So much fun.
It's interesting. I think, Nikolich could have fought over this. I think he's just kind of on a, all right, you want to take all this damage. I've still got Logic Knot and Path, so I'm not at risk of you resolving one thing, and I want to get you low.
He has Colonnade in hand.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because the plan here has been he's had the opportunity to counter 2 Thoughtseizes.
Right.
And has not countered either one.
Yeah, I think the reasoning here is if I can cover myself against a threat, if Donegan can't get something to stick, take all the damage you want. It's going to make it so I don't have to play a million turns. I can just Snapcaster Bolt you out or hit you once or twice with a Colonnade. Now he's picked up a Lightning Helix.
Yeah.
He might be able to finish this game off without that much effort. And what I like about that is it's kind of hard in this matchup to convert your bolts and helixes into much of anything because the threats are too big. So Nicolich now is drawing very live because he's found a game plan that allows him to convert his bolts really productively, just finishing the game out.
Yeah, well, what he's done is no accident. Again, he's had the counter spells in his hand, and he's just like, I'm not casting these. You can take this.
This is the type of line that you're only going to come up with if you've played this matchup 100 times. Because it did not match my intuition. I thought he was going to fight over the Snapcaster Mage. I thought he was going to fight over the Thoughtseize. But now looking at this, where as long as he's covered, where he doesn't, he can fight over a threat should Donegan try to resolve one. All right, take some points. It's going to make it a little bit easier for me to finish the game out. He's picked up a Snapcaster Mage now, so he actually has lethal rolled up. He's not going to rush to do it because there's no rush. You know, why play into a counterspell when you don't have to? But
and he's got what he needs. That's for sure.
This is cool to see something this creative.
That's kind of funny too, because you think about how the game's played out. Donegan's done all of the stuff, the thought scouring and everything, cycling of streets, all the stuff, and Nikolich has cast a spell, 2.
And what's also cool about this is, you know, it's complicated for Donegan to do some of the basic functionality of his deck. Now Street Wraith is a dead draw. Now any sacrificing of any fetch land, the opportunity cost has gone up so high. Because he's got nothing going on in play, and his life total is becoming concerning.
Yeah, so far Nikolich has played a Serum Visions and a Electrolyze, and his opponent is at 5.
Yeah, and he's got Snapcaster Helix, so he can, you know, he can path this Gurmag Angler. That probably warrants some sort of response. And if Donegan fights to protect this Gurmag Angler, he can just dead to the Snapcaster Mage and burn spells. To say nothing of the Colonnade.
Yeah. So we start here. They're Stubborn Denial. So do we Helix now? I think we Helix now. We Snapcaster Mage now. For the path. Yeah, okay, so this is fairly easy, I think. Because the Snapcaster Mage can come across to put Donegan down 2-3. Nicolich is going to sacrifice his fetch land as well.
Yeah, this is a lot of discipline here from Nikolich. And you can see the priority 1 from his side is, you know, maybe you want to save the Snapcaster for the Helix. I could understand that reasoning. But priority 1 appears to be leave Donegan with no creatures. When Donegan doesn't have a creature in play, his deck doesn't function.
Yeah.
And I have all the time in the world to do whatever I want.
Draw a card. Picked up an island.
And you can fire up the Colonnade here and attack with both because Donegan does not have the mana to cast 2 copies of Fatal Push.
Yep.
And once he goes from 3 down to 3, then finishing out the game's not that hard. You can see I think Nikolich is definitely concerned about the possibility of Fatal Push here.
Yeah.
He's giving it some thought, but I think firing up here and attacking with both is not bad for playing around.
How about a Teamer Battle Ridge? All right, well. Bitter Nikolich is going to win game number 1 here over Dylan Donegan. Jeskai Control will take care of Grixis Death's Shadow. You mentioned Teamer Battle Rage being bad in the matchup. Well, he drew both of his copies, so you have to imagine he's sideboarding those out.
Yeah, the battle here is can Donegan get a thing onto the battlefield? That's the challenge. Winning the game from that point is not the hard part, and he just drew too much of that.
Well, he's going to have to work on his deck for game number 2, and in a moment we're going to watch him do that. But for now, we have a couple quick messages from our sponsors. Benjamin Nikolich, Dylan Donegan. Game number 2 going to be underway here in just a moment with these players working their sideboard. We're going to take a look at them too, get an idea with what they are working with here. And we're going to start with Dylan Donegan on your rights with 3 Lingering Souls, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Disdainful Stroke, a Stubborn Denial, a Pyroclasm, Radiant Flames, a Collective Brutality, and it's a Static Caster. Rakdos Charm, Kolaghan's Command, and the Gauntlet trying to help cast those Lingering Souls. What do you like here, P. Sully?
The Lingering Souls, that's where it starts. Nicolich does have some electrolyzes. He's not as behind against this card as some control decks are. But Donegan needs more threats. He needs a little bit more staying power. Lingering Souls is perfect. I could be talked into the Stubborn Denial, maybe the Disdainful Strokes, but the Lingering Souls is the prize here.
We'll go to Benjamin Nikolich, who's got 2 Celestial Purge, 3 Dispel, Attention Sphere, 2 Vendilion Click, Aware Tear, Elspeth Sun's Champion, Engineered Explosives, Negate, Ruined Halo ×2, and another copy of Supreme Verdict.
This sideboard is so good for this matchup. I think the Supreme Verdict, the Ruined Halo, the Engineered Explosives, the Elspeth Sun's Champion, Celestial Purge, and Attention Sphere are all very good here. I don't even know if he has enough room, although he might just be shaving down on bolts and helixes. They aren't very good in the matchup. Nikolich has a lot of quality cards.
He's definitely come to play against Death Shadow, and again, with the way that he navigated that first game, it's very clear he's played this matchup a bunch.
Yes.
He knows exactly what he's trying to accomplish, and his sideboard also reflects that. Again, his deck does look a little strange on paper, but this 9-1, 10-1 potentially record that we have seen or will see from him, this is not the first time this has happened.
And I'm interested in setting aside all these X1s and top 16s and top 32s. I want to know the last time he had a bad tournament.
Same.
When's the last time he went, 5-3?
Yeah.
With this deck, it just doesn't seem to be happening.
Looks like Donegan going to take a mulligan here pretty quickly. Nikolich is going to do the exact same. So neither player happy with their opening hand. So they'll go back to the drawing board here, and we'll see what they can find. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the StarCityGames.com holiday sale here, folks, where, oh boy, until January 7th, which is, did you know it's today?
I did not know that was today.
That's today. We got hundreds of new items added daily up until January 7th. So go to StarCityGames.com/weekly sale. Look at all this stuff, man.
Yeah, there's a variety of discounts going on individual cards, on sealed product.
Put the graphic back up. Yeah, we know. Put the graphic back up.
Anywho, today is the last day. Make sure to go check it out.
We can check it out.
Go check it out.
Both these players are going to take a look at 6 cards now. They're both happy, so they're going to scry. We'll get back to that holiday sale maybe after the match. We got to get people to buy stuff, man.
That is sort of the whole thing.
You get it. You get it.
That's what we do here.
Street Rate's going to bring Dylan down to 19. Bloodstained Mire, here we go.
Whether it's by making you generally more invested in tournament magic
or
specific products that we are trying to promote, that's the thing.
Scalding Tarn here from Nikolich. Scalding Tarn here from Donegan. Donegan with another pretty slow, not Death Shadow start.
But I think that's more acceptable here in the post-board games with access to Lingering Souls.
Yeah, that's fair.
A slow hand with Lingering Souls is still totally fine.
That's very, very fair. Donegan going to sacrifice this Bloodstained Mire. I'm curious to see what land he wants to search up. Be very telling if he gets the Godless Shrine right now. Okay. Untapped too. So 12 already? Boy.
This is somewhat the line that got Donegan into, line's maybe too strong of a word, but the play pattern that got him into a little bit of trouble last game with the bolts finishing him out. But I mind it much less post-board because you have an expectation that Nicolich has less of the bolts and helixes in his deck.
It would be my assumption he has less. Delta sacrifice. Donegan down to 11. We'll see if he wants to go lower than that. Whew. He ain't messing around. Down to 9. 3 fetches for Max. value, and now
Sure.
a Street Wraith. And is Death Shadow okay? Yeah. They're 4/4s.
It's the magic number for Stubborn Denial.
Nikolich is going to sacrifice Scalding Tarn. I have to imagine a White Horse is going to be on the way here. Yeah, there's a Hallowed Fountain. That's no surprise.
Would not be a bad spot for a sideboard Ruined Halo.
Or Engineered Explosives.
Sphinx's Revelation, we're going to have to wait on.
Here's a Colonnade. Pass the turn.
Whoa!
Yeah.
A little heavy.
We're
Coming in heavy.
Yeah. We're not quite time to rev yet. Hollowed, Watery Grave untapped means he's going to fall down to 7, and these are going to be an attack for 12. Maybe the Verdict is in.
Yep. Supreme Verdict would not be bad.
Purge is okay.
Would have been not bad a few turns ago.
He's got Cryptic Command. I don't know if that's going to do it.
Well, you can counter draw. I mean, you're just dead if Donegan has,
Yeah, well,
okay, cool.
Yeah, Dylan has Stubborn now, so we're done. Yeah, that's it. Two attacks for 12 makes that really, really gosh darn easy. So Dylan Donegan's going to win game number 2 over Benjamin Nikolich. So these two guys are just having a blast playing these quick little non-games.
Game 1 wasn't a non-game.
It was a weird first game.
That's not fair. And also, game 2 was not a non-game. Nicolich drew cards that were in his deck with lands.
Fine.
They just were, a little heavy.
They were definitely a little heavy.
Yeah.
We're going to call it heavy.
Sphinx's Revelation is like a little, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a little bit much.
It's not the right time for Sphinx's Revelation. How's that sound?
11:30 in the morning is just that's early. That's early in the day for that.
Well, these two players are going to get ready here for game number 3. We'll hear a couple of messages from our sponsors, and then we'll watch that third game. Game number 3 about to be underway here between Benjamin Nikolich and Dylan Donegan. Jeskai Control, Grixis Death Shadow. Buckle up. Buckle up. Team Lotus Box having a nice little tournament here. You see Jonathan Rossum behind Nikolich. He's playing in a feature match. Dylan having a nice tournament. Collins Mullen having a good tournament. Zan Saeed as well. So Team Lotus Box doing well for themselves. Doing well for themselves here in Columbus. They made the drive, snowy and cold. I can't forget about Corey McDuffie as well.
10 a.m. sealed for round 2 pairings are going on.
So we're going to see if McDuffie and Donegan, Rossum, maybe the rest of the team can make top 8 here in Columbus. But for now, Benjamin Nikolich looking to play spoiler here in this match. So get ready here for game number 3. He'll be on the play with his Jeskai Control deck.
Secure the Waste.
Ever heard of it?
Coming in heavy.
That's a heavy start for sure. I will not keep. He will send his hand back.
Yeah, it looked like he drew up a one maybe a 2-lander there with some heavy cards.
See if Donegan's happy with his hand or not. I think he's still in the tank here. Boy, this must be a tough one. Don't have a great look at Dylan's hand, but someone who's played Death Shadow for this long.
Yeah, he might
really
have
agonizing.
He might have already kept it as just,
He's posturing, ravitsing.
ravitsing.
Is that what he's doing?
Contemplating life's mysteries. I earlier in my day, I guess he is still thinking about him all.
Oh, you think so?
I played with a historically slow player in John Sani.
Oh, I've seen this firsthand.
Pro Tour top 4 competitor back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And one time he was asked, when you're sitting there and taking so long to take your turns or decide on mulligans, what are you thinking about? And his response was, sometimes I'm thinking about nothing. Donegan had the look of someone who was thinking about nothing. I know that look. I've been around it for a long time.
I've had the pleasure or displeasure of playing against John Sani in my career.
Methodical.
That's being nice. That is being so kind. It is so slow.
It is really slow.
To the point of honest agony.
Right.
And now you've told me that at some points he was thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
It's even harder to take as we're underway here in Game 3.
There's a match against our colleague, Craig Crumples, at a PTQ.
Mm-hmm.
in the X and 2 bracket, so already tensions are high.
Yes.
John and Craig play, and it's a mono black mirror match in Odyssey block. And John goes in the tank forever on turn 2 and plays a Mesmeric Fiend. And Craig goes, okay. And then John goes in the tank on turn 3 and comes out with Rancid Earth.
Rancid Earth through land. I knew it.
And Craig goes, okay.
Yep.
And then he goes into a tank on turn 4. Comes out with Braids.
Braids Cabal Minion. Yep.
And Craig snaps. And he's like, what were you thinking about? And John starts to talk, and Craig just signs the match slip and walks on. Does not want to talk to him about it.
I'm with Craig on this one. That's the best possible start. What are you in the tank about?
Right.
I don't understand. You have no decisions. Much like Dylan has no decisions with his Inquisition of Kozilek. I will select your Spell Snare. I will hope you don't get to cast Torrential Gearhulk this game, I suppose. Yeah, what were you thinking about?
What were you thinking about? And John tried to scramble and come up with an answer, but
I guess I will.
Craig had already left the building by the time.
I guess I will destroy your land on turn 3.
I guess I will take your one good spell. I suppose I'll blow up your land. I suppose I'll lock you out of the game.
Yeah. And then that will be that.
I don't know. It's hard, though. Yeah, you just don't know.
He draws Search for Escanta. He drew Ruined Halo.
Ruined Halo.
Dylan looking to get the name of the rest of the cards, which Torrential Gearhulk, Scalding Tarn, Island, he knew about those from the Inquisition of Kozilek. Ruined Halo was the top deck. A little bit of sportsmanship there between the two. We'll see what Ruined Halo is naming here in just a moment. Good confirmation from our table spotter. He's naming Death's Shadow. Let's go over to Benjamin Nikolich. That'll be a Celestial Colonnade. Pass the turn back over to Dylan Donegan.
So, Nicolich right now definitely vulnerable to a delve threat, but he has cut off a fair bit of Donegan's deck. The other big hit here for Donegan is Lingering Souls.
Yes, it is, which is why you see him search up that Godless Shrine, everybody. And Thought Scour. 2 Death Shadows right through the graveyard.
Beautiful.
Well done, Dylan. Well done.
A little ancestral right
That's right, yeah. No kidding. There is Lingering Souls. Yeah, I'd be smiling too. Give me some Spirit tokens, thank you.
That is the best Thought Scour I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Do not want. That is a Scalding Tarn from Nikolich. Spirit tokens on the way here for Donegan. He drew another copy of Lingering Souls. We have a game plan. Donegan's hand's not particularly good. He's got 3 more lands in there. Doesn't want to draw that many, but for now he'll come across here for 2. The follow-up. Want to make sure the coast is clear. Thoughtseize. Give me that T Gearhulk.
Yeah.
An island and a Flooded Strand in hand here for Benjamin Nikolich. Donegan's going to follow up with Lingering Souls, and for Nikolich, he's going to have some good peels, folks. He's going to sacrifice his Scalding Tarn.
Yeah. Another Ruined Halo would not be bad here. He's got 2 in the board.
Be fine. Can't name Spirit.
You can't. Oh, I should name a card.
You have to name a card.
A card and a Spirit's not a card.
That's correct.
It's a token.
That's correct.
That's intuitive. It's a permanent, but it's not a card.
I'm right here.
It's obvious what that means.
I'm right here with you. You're preaching to the choir. Let me make sure on Ruined Halo. Make sure I'm not a doofus.
So you can't name it with Ruined Halo, but it does count towards Ascend, because a card and a permanent is different things.
There's a Snapcaster Mage, Serum Visions. As Ruined Halo comes into play, name a card.
And they're not cards.
They're not cards.
They're token permanents.
That's correct, because you can't put a token in your deck.
Yeah. Okay.
You have protection from the chosen name. You'll be all right, buddy.
Okay. It looks like Nikolich here has found a copy of Supreme Verdict, which he's left on top.
It's a good start.
Yeah. Now Donegan still with the Lingering Souls in the graveyard, and then the question is he going to flash back and try to push this down in 1 turn? But Nikolich scrying to the top is suspicious.
Death Shadow, I love it.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, not doing anything else. Play this blocker. The verdict is in. The hand here for Nikolich, Path to Exile, Flooded Strand, and that Supreme Verdict. I think it might be time to cast it.
I think Nikolich is thinking, if I say go and take another hit, will that bait out the other flashback of Lingering Souls? Because here's the thing. You leave on top, okay? You play a land and you say go. Donegan might believe that it's Sphinx's Revelation or something like that you've left on top, and he has to go ahead and flashback the Lingering Souls to overpower you.
Extend a little bit. Sure.
So there's at least a conversation there of, by saying go here and by having Scry to the top, will that induce Donegan to flashback the Lingering Souls? I think Nikolich determines that that's not the case. He's just going to cast the Supreme Verdict, but it's at least worth a thought. You might be able to get all of them if you wait a turn. There's a chance.
Donegan going to sacrifice a fetch land here. Let's see which duel he wants to get. He'll get his team fence tapped. So I think that's very likely that Donegan will probably flashback both Lingering Souls now.
Yes, I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Did a little draw. Didn't get a great look at what he drew. But this gives Nikolich the opportunity to peel Snapcaster Mage for a Supreme Verdict, or Engineered Explosives, or other ways to kill the tokens.
And Donegan has dealt a lot of damage to himself, as this deck does, and Nikolich has a Colonnade. So if he's able to answer the second wave of Lingering Souls tokens, it will not take him that long to turn the game around and win.
All right, 4 tokens. Donegan's draw was a Snapcaster Mage, by the way. Pretty good. Go over to Benjamin. He's untapping. And he is drawing. I think it may have been a Serum Visions.
Which is an unfortunate draw here because it's potentially low impact and prevents him from activating the Colonnade to block. But he kind of needs to cast it this turn.
Fetch for an island is going to bring him down to 6. That point matters, as most points do. And now here is Serum Visions. He'll draw a card. Another copy of Path to Exile. Now Scry 2. Look like a Logic Knot and a Search of his Kanta are the cards he's looking at. Not terribly interested in either of those. Certainly Mr. Nikolich would know better than I. He is the master of this deck after all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue for Search for Azcanta here if your plan is to path 2 Souls tokens. But that just, that line doesn't feel viable to me. I think my instinct is to bottom both. I guess I could see leaving Search on top, but that's a tough way to do it, I think. All right, looks like he's running it.
All right, Serum Visions done resolving. Kick it over. Donegan going to sack this fetch land. I'm curious to see if he's going to play Snapcaster now, because the window looks open to go for the kill.
It's just, I don't know, that goes wrong for you so many ways, and the Snapcaster, if Nicolich just goes, Cryptic you before attackers and you're down your Snapcaster Mage, you could easily lose this game. Donegan knows he's a big draw away from losing this game, and losing this game very quickly because of the Colonnade.
Yeah.
So he needs to be a little bit more mindful.
Path to Exile going to take care of a Spirit token. Donegan has no more basics to search for. Here's Snappy. And it'll be Thought Scour. And the Thought Scour is actually going to target Nikolich.
Because he's Scry to the top.
Uh-huh. What's interesting here is like that card actually could be relevant now. Draw. It was just a land, I think.
And lethal is presented right now because the Colonnade can only block one thing.
There's Floated Strand. Pass turn back. In there. Colonnade's going to get fired up. Can I block? You may. Sure. Path. Stubborn Denial. A good a game. Dylan Donegan going to win this match here over Benjamin Nikolich. 2-1. Grixis Death Shadow going to take care of Jeskai Control. And for Dylan Donegan, number 14 on the SCG Tour leaderboard. Those Lingering Souls are great, as is a 10-1 record here in Columbus.
Yeah, Nikolich never quite got humming. The fend you off early, make my land drops, and start pivoting into big cards just didn't quite manifest. And Donegan had a lot more staying power post board because of the Lingering Souls, and that really determined the third game.
And Lingering Souls look great in those games.
Oh.
I will tell you that much. The Lingering Souls is kind of built to beat, control decks just like that. Get the front end, put some spirits out there, make them deal with that. Come to the back end, flash them back, and hopefully kill him with that. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it was exactly how you imagine Lingering Souls being kind of in the ideal spot. He was able to slog through Supreme Verdict and Path to Exiles just because he had so much more staying power.
Yeah, so congratulations to Dylan Donegan and Team Lotus Box on having a really impressive tournament so far. And Dylan Donegan, I believe, the best record of the bunch. Actually, him and Corey, best record of the bunch thus far. Both of them playing Grixis Death Shadow, both of them really good friends. Both of them talk about the deck a lot. And if you did not get the opportunity to read Dylan Donegan's article on Star City Games about cantripping in Modern with Serum Visions and Thought Scour and Opt and everything else, I recommend that you do. Smart kid, really well-written article, and the results to back it up, as you see right now. So, with that, we are going to take a break here from Columbus. When we do come back, it's round number 12 of action. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the metagame breakdown. We'll take a look